You've been underestimating yourself this whole time, and the way people react to you proves it. You don't even realize the kind of presence you carry, the way you quietly affect people without trying. But once you see what's really happening beneath the surface, you'll never look at yourself or anyone else the same way again. Welcome to Psyche and Shadow, where we explore the hidden forces behind human behavior and attraction. Today, we're uncovering the subtle psychological signs that reveal your natural magnetism and the powerful presence you carry without even realizing it. Most women don't even realize they're doing it. They don't see how they draw people in, how their presence shifts the energy of a room, how they can make someone lose their train of thought without even trying. It's not something calculated or forced. It's something they naturally carry. Carl Jung spent years exploring this exact phenomenon. What he uncovered changes the way you look at yourself. He believed that every person gives off a kind of presence, an invisible energy that others pick up on before a single word is spoken. And here's the part most people miss. The less aware you are of it, the more genuine and powerful it becomes. Chances are, you're downplaying it right now. You don't see it the way others do. So let's walk through the signs that suggest you're far more attractive and magnetic than you've allowed yourself to believe. Some of these are subtle, almost invisible, and you've probably ignored them for years. But once you see them clearly, you won't interpret your daily interactions the same way again. Pay close attention as we go, because there's one sign people misunderstand the most, even though it reveals something incredibly important about your presence. The first thing to notice is how some men react around you. You've seen it before. A man who seems confident everywhere else suddenly becomes awkward in your presence. He loses his words, fidgets, or focuses on something random just to avoid direct eye contact. You might have brushed it off, but from Jung's perspective, something deeper is happening. He would say that man is encountering his anima, the inner feminine image within him, and your energy is bringing it to the surface. This isn't just simple attraction, it's a deeper psychological reaction. He might be composed in every other situation, but something about you disrupts that control. Watch the small signals: touching his neck, avoiding your gaze too quickly, speaking too fast or too slow. These aren't signs of weakness, they're signs of recognition. His unconscious is responding to something in you that goes beyond logic. You don't need to shrink yourself to make him comfortable. That reaction is not a problem, it's confirmation. Another sign is when people look at you more than once. That second glance you catch isn't random. The first look is automatic, but when someone looks again, even after they've already moved on, that's something deeper. Jung believed certain people carry archetypal qualities that others recognize unconsciously. It's as if something in you calls out to something hidden in them. You could be doing nothing at all, waiting in line, walking through a parking lot, sitting quietly somewhere, and still, people feel drawn to look again. It's not about what you're wearing or how you've presented yourself. It's about the energy you carry. There's something in the way you exist that people feel, even if they can't explain it. Then there's the disconnect between how you see yourself and how others see you. You've probably had days where you felt completely off, not your best, maybe even invisible, and yet someone still noticed you, complimented you, or seemed drawn to you. You likely brushed it off, assuming they were just being nice. But Jung talked about how we often can't see our own light. We're blind to it, while others can't ignore it. That gap between your self-image and how others experience you is actually part of what makes you magnetic. When you're not trying to impress, when you're not putting on a performance, your natural self comes through, and that's what people respond to. Imperfections don't hide it. If anything, they make it more real. You might also notice that people find small, almost unnecessary reasons to interact with you. They ask questions they could easily figure out themselves. They bring up topics that don't really matter, They create little moments of contact that don't seem logical, but there's a reason behind it. Jung's idea of synchronicity suggests that what looks random often isn't. These small interactions are just ways for someone to get closer to you without fully understanding why they want to. The question isn't important. The excuse isn't important. You are. Their conscious mind is just creating a path towards something their unconscious is already drawn to. Another sign shows up in a more uncomfortable way. When other women criticize you without a clear reason. Maybe you've experienced passive-aggressive comments or subtle competition that didn't make sense. It might have felt personal, but Jung's work on the shadow offers a different explanation. Sometimes people project their own insecurities onto others. Your confidence, your ease, the way you carry yourself without forcing anything, it can reflect something in someone else that they haven't accepted in themselves. That discomfort turns into criticism. It's not really about you. It's about what you represent to them. You've probably been labeled as too much at some point, even when you weren't trying to be anything at all. Or you've felt tension from someone without understanding why. From this perspective, it's not a flaw in you. It's a sign that your presence is strong enough to stir something deeper in others. You might also notice that strangers smile at you for no clear reason. It happens in ordinary moments, on the street, in a store, passing by someone. There's no agenda behind it, no attempt to start a conversation, just a genuine, almost instinctive smile. Jung would say this kind of reaction comes from unconscious recognition. Something in your energy connects with something deeper in them. It's not a social habit, it's automatic. These small, quiet reactions are often the clearest indicators of the effect you have on people without even trying. And then there's a sign that people don't like to talk about openly. Sometimes, men who are already in relationships seem to notice you more than expected. It can feel uncomfortable, but through Jung's lens, it's not as simple as it appears. What's happening isn't necessarily about intention or disrespect. It's about unconscious attraction to qualities they may feel are missing or unexpressed in their own lives. Your presence can highlight something within them they haven't fully explored or integrated. That attention isn't always something they even understand themselves. It just happens. When you start to see these patterns clearly, everything shifts. The way people respond to you, the subtle reactions you've ignored, the small interactions you once dismissed, they all begin to make sense. And more importantly, you start to understand that your presence has an impact, whether you're aware of it or not. When a man who's already committed still finds his attention drifting toward you, holding that glance just a little longer than expected, it's not something you caused or encouraged. It's deeper than that. His inner image of the feminine is being stirred by something real in you. And that kind of pull doesn't switch off just because of circumstances or labels. You might notice it in everyday moments, at a gathering, during a meeting, even just passing by someone. That look appears and it lingers. It's not about disrespect or intention. It's something happening beneath the surface. Carl Jung would describe it as your presence aligning with something already living inside him, something he may not even fully understand. It's not about what you're wearing or how you're presenting yourself. It's about what you naturally embody. And this isn't something you need to carry or feel responsible for. You didn't create it. Your presence simply moves through the world as it is, and people respond to it in ways that often go beyond their awareness. Another place this shows up is online. You might post something simple, nothing planned, nothing polished, just a casual moment. And somehow, it gets more attention than you expected. Messages, comments, reactions that don't seem to match the effort you put in. From a deeper perspective, it's not really about the post itself. It's about what comes through it. Even in a digital space, something real about you translates. In a world where so much is curated and filtered, authenticity stands out immediately. And ironically, it's the moments where you weren't trying that people respond to the most. You might look back and wonder what made it land like that, maybe even think you need to do more next time. But the truth is, that impact came from you not trying at all. Then there's something that often feels confusing, even frustrating. A man shows clear interest. He's engaged, present, drawn to you. And then suddenly, he pulls away. No explanation, no warning. Then, just as unexpectedly, he comes back again. It can feel like mixed signals, like inconsistency, like something isn't adding up. But what's really happening is more complex. When someone feels something intense, it can trigger both attraction and resistance at the same time. Part of him is drawn in, while another part feels overwhelmed by how strong that pull is. So he creates distance, not because he doesn't care, but because the intensity is harder to process than he expected. Once that pressure eases, he returns, often without fully understanding why he stepped back in the first place. If you've been interpreting this as disinterest or games, it's worth reconsidering. Sometimes it's actually the opposite. Your presence can affect someone on a level that disrupts their usual sense of control. That's not a flaw in you. It speaks to the depth of the impact you have. Another truth is that you likely don't see your own influence clearly. The people who carry the strongest presence are often the ones who question themselves the most. You might doubt your value while unknowingly leaving a lasting impression on others. You compare yourself, wondering if you measure up, while others are quietly noticing you in ways you don't realize. That contrast is at the heart of real magnetism. When you're not trying to prove anything, not performing or seeking approval, something more genuine comes forward. And that version of you carries a kind of quiet intensity people pick up on instantly. It shows up in rooms you walk into without making an entrance, yet something shifts anyway. It shows in the way your words stay with people long after the moment passes. It's in those unguarded moments where you're simply being yourself. This isn't something that depends on your confidence or awareness. It's already there. But when you start to recognize it, not in an ego-driven way, but with a calm acceptance, it changes how everything flows. You become more grounded, your presence feels deeper, and people respond to you with a clarity that finally makes sense. You might also notice that when you leave a space, something changes. The energy feels different. People might not even realize it immediately, but later they think about you. They feel that something shifted after you were gone. Your presence creates a kind of atmosphere while you're there. It adds something to the environment that people don't fully notice until it's missing. Conversations lose a certain depth. The moment feels flatter. It's subtle, but it's real. When your absence is felt more strongly than your arrival, it says a lot about the kind of presence you carry. You don't need to demand attention. You create something meaningful without trying. And then there's silence. With most people, silence feels awkward, like something that needs to be filled. But with you, it's different. It feels full, almost intense. Someone can sit with you without speaking and still feel completely engaged. In those moments, there's a connection happening that doesn't rely on words. The other person might not even be able to explain it. They just feel it. That kind of stillness isn't empty. It's layered with meaning. It reflects a level of depth that goes beyond surface interaction. So think about it honestly. How many of these moments have you experienced without really seeing them for what they are? How many times have you brushed something off, minimized it, or misunderstood it completely? Recognizing these patterns is the first step. It's not about inflating your ego. It's about seeing clearly what's already there. If this changed the way you see yourself, then stay with it. And if you want more insights into human behavior and deeper psychological patterns, follow Psyche and Shadow. Because the truth is simple. You don't have to build your attractiveness from scratch. It already exists in the way you naturally move through the world. While you've been questioning yourself, Others have already been feeling the impact of your presence. This was never just about attraction. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing the depth of who you already are becoming. What makes this idea so powerful is that it shifts the entire focus away from trying to be attractive and toward understanding how attraction actually works beneath the surface. Most people are stuck at the level of appearance, behavior, or strategy. They think attraction is something you build through effort. But what Carl Jung pointed toward is almost the opposite. Real magnetism comes from integration, not performance. When you stop trying to present a perfect version of yourself, something more real starts to come through. And that realness carries weight. People feel it instantly, even if they don't consciously understand what they're responding to. It's not about saying the right things or acting a certain way. It's about how aligned you are internally. If there's a gap between who you are and who you're trying to appear as, people sense that too. Maybe not logically, but emotionally. And that disconnect weakens your presence. The idea of integration is central here. Jung believed that every person has both light and shadow within them, the parts you accept and the parts you avoid. The more you reject pieces of yourself, the more fragmented your presence becomes. But when you start acknowledging those hidden parts, your insecurities, your contradictions, even the traits you've been told to suppress, you become more whole. And that wholeness is what people experience as depth. This is why some individuals don't need to say much, yet they still leave a strong impression. There's no strain in them, no overthinking about how they're being perceived. They're not constantly adjusting themselves to fit expectations. That lack of inner conflict creates a kind of stillness, and that stillness draws people in. It feels grounded, stable, and real in a way that's rare. Another layer to this is projection. People don't just see you, they see parts of themselves in you. Sometimes they project admiration, sometimes desire, sometimes even discomfort. That's why reactions to you can vary so much. One person feels calm around you, another feels intimidated, another feels strangely emotional without knowing why. You become a kind of mirror, reflecting back what's already inside them. This is also why trying to control how everyone perceives you is a losing game. You're not dealing with one fixed reaction. You're interacting with dozens of different inner worlds. Each person is interpreting you through their own experiences, their own unmet needs, their own beliefs. So instead of trying to manage perception, the real power comes from strengthening your own center. The more grounded you are in yourself, the less those shifting reactions pull you off balance. There's also something important about emotional intensity. When someone feels a strong pull toward you, it doesn't always show up in a clean or predictable way. Sometimes it creates confusion, hesitation, or even distance. That's because intensity forces people to confront things they may not be ready to face. It can bring up vulnerability, fear of rejection, or unresolved patterns. So instead of moving closer, they step back to regain control. If you don't understand this, you might take it personally. You might think you did something wrong or that you're not enough, but often it's the opposite. The stronger the reaction you create, the more likely it is to trigger both attraction and defense at the same time. That push and pull isn't random, it's psychological. Another thing most people overlook is how much communication happens without words. Your tone, your eye contact, your pace, your energy, all of it speaks before you do. And when those signals are consistent with who you really are, they create trust. Not logical trust, but emotional trust. People feel like what they're seeing is real, not constructed. And that's what makes them relax around you, or in some cases, become more aware of you. There's also a quiet confidence that comes from not needing validation. Not pretending you don't care, but genuinely not depending on approval to feel stable. That kind of energy is rare, and it stands out immediately. It doesn't chase attention, yet it attracts it. It doesn't force connection, yet it creates it naturally. At the same time, this kind of presence can feel isolating if you don't understand it. You might notice people reacting strongly to you, but not always knowing how to connect in a simple way. Or you might feel like people either come too close too fast or keep their distance without explanation. That's because depth isn't something everyone is comfortable with. Some people are drawn to it, others are unsettled by it. The key is not to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. That's the mistake most people make. They sense the impact they have, and then try to tone it down, become more neutral, more predictable. But that only creates inattention again, and you lose the very thing that made you magnetic in the first place. Instead, the real shift happens when you become aware of your presence without trying to control it. You start noticing patterns without immediately judging them. You recognize how people respond, but you don't base your value on those reactions. That balance, awareness without over-identification, is what keeps your energy steady. Over time, this changes how you move through the world. You stop chasing validation because you see the impact you already have. You stop over-analyzing every interaction because you understand that not everything needs to be explained, and you start trusting that the right people will respond to your presence in a way that feels natural, not forced. In the end, this isn't really about attraction in the shallow sense. It's about alignment. The more you are in sync with yourself, the more your presence carries something real. And people always feel what's real, even if they can't put it into words. In the end, this isn't about trying harder, changing who you are, or chasing validation from anyone. It's about finally recognizing what's already there. The subtle reactions you've been ignoring, the moments you brushed off, the energy you thought was nothing. It all points to something real within you. You don't need to perform to be magnetic. You don't need to prove your worth for people to feel your presence. The impact you have on others doesn't come from effort. It comes from alignment, from being fully yourself without filtering or forcing it. Once you start seeing these patterns clearly, something shifts. You stop doubting every interaction. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. And instead, you move through the world with a quiet certainty that doesn't need approval to exist. Because the truth is, your presence has been speaking for you all along. And while you were questioning whether you were enough, others were already feeling the depth of who you are. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe to Psyche and Shadow for more deep dives into human psychology and hidden patterns of attraction. And if you made it this far, drop the word aware in the comments, so I know you truly understood the message behind this video.